The world remembers the gunshot in Sarajevo. But long before that single bullet tore open the 20th century, the continent was already trembling. Empires creaked like ancient trees in a rising wind. Borders smoldered. Pride, ambition, and fear danced together like sparks waiting for dry grass. This is the story of the forgotten conflicts. The wars before the war. The battles that loaded the gun before anyone pulled the trigger. Chapter 1. The Franco-Prussian Fault Line, 8 o'clock. In 1870, Europe watched a contest of titans. Prussia, sharp, disciplined, and hungry for unification. France, proud, wounded by decline, clinging to imperial memory. Their collision was swift and savage. Prussia's victory created something new. A united Germany, strong, industrial, and confident. But victory has a price. France lost Alsace and Lorraine, two provinces carved out of its soul. Hatred turned to policy. Humiliation turned to strategy. A revenge narrative brewed for 44 years, waiting to ignite. Chapter 2. Empires built on sand, 7 o'clock. The Habsburg Empire was an old lion with a fading roar. Dozens of nationalities tugged at its skin. Slavs, Hungarians, Czechs, Poles, Croats, Serbs. Austro-Hungarian leadership clung desperately to tradition, but its foundation was cracking. Any spark in the Balkans could send shockwaves through Vienna, Budapest, and beyond. Meanwhile, the Ottoman Empire, once a colossus, was now a shadow of itself. Its borders shrank. Its authority crumbled. Europe circled like vultures over a wounded giant. The decline of old empires didn't calm Europe. It destabilized it. Chapter 3. The Balkan Wars begin, 10 o'clock. The Balkans were lightning trapped in a bottle. Serbia, fueled by Slavic nationalism, dreamed of uniting all South Slavs. Bulgaria sought to reclaim lost territories. Greece and Montenegro sharpened their ambitions like swords. In 1912, these nations united in the First Balkan War, striking the Ottoman Empire with ferocity. They won, but victory shattered their unity. Territory became treasure, and treasure became fuel for betrayal. The Second Balkan War erupted in 1913. Former allies turned into mortal enemies. Borders moved like dice thrown across a table. Villages burned. Armies staggered. And the great empires watched with clenched fists. Chapter 4. The Domino Effect, 8 o'clock. Each Balkan conflict tightened the knot tying Europe to catastrophe. Russia backed Serbia, its Slavic little brother. Austria-Hungary feared Serbian nationalism like a spark near dry grain. Germany promised support to Austria, wanting to prove its steel. France shadowed Russia, bound by treaty and revenge. Britain monitored the balance like a stern accountant, wary of German naval power. The Balkan Wars didn't just redraw maps. They rehearsed alliances. They tested armies. They hardened leaders. Each nation walked away convinced of one lesson. The next war would be big, brutal, and inevitable. Chapter 5. The Final Tremor, 6 o'clock. By 1914, diplomacy was cosmetic. Europe wore a mask of civility, but beneath it was a furnace. Militaries expanded. Railway timetables doubled as invasion plans. Newspapers spoke in the language of honor and blood. Serbia's victory in the Balkan Wars emboldened it. Austria-Hungary's weakness enraged it. Germany's pride inflated it. Russia's confidence strengthened it. The continent was a loaded machine, oiled, armed, and humming. Chapter 6. The Gunshot That Struck a World, 6 o'clock. On June 28, 1914, in Sarajevo, a young assassin fired at an archduke. Tragedy, yes, but not the cause. It was merely the match. The Balkan Wars had prepared the region. The Franco-Prussian War had prepared the great powers. Decades of rivalry, revenge, and restless nationalism had prepared everyone else. The storm was already spinning long before the thunder. Outro 6:30. History often highlights the explosion. But the explosion is never the beginning. Before World War I shattered empires and redrew the world, smaller wars whispered warnings. Pride ignored them. Power refused to listen. To understand the Great War, we must first understand the sparks, the forgotten conflicts that loaded the chamber before the storm. Thanks for watching. Don't miss our next video, we dropped it a few hours ago. If you'd like to help us grow, feel free to support us with a coffee, a donation, or a voucher. We're creating with old equipment and slow internet, so even the smallest contribution makes a real difference. Thank you again for being here.